Tesla wasn't just an inventor, he was a seeker. Hidden deep in his vault, a secret document reveals his boldest experiment, trying to communicate with souls beyond death. What if the greatest mind of the 20th century cracked a code no one else dared touch? Today, you'll see the side of Tesla that history tried to erase. Nikola Tesla is a name that sparks images of lightning bolts, futuristic inventions, and a mind so far ahead of his time it almost feels like science fiction. Born in 1856 in what is now Croatia, Tesla was a brilliant inventor and engineer whose work laid the foundation for much of the modern electrical world. From alternating current electricity to wireless communication, his contributions changed how we live in ways most people barely realize. But behind the well-known public figure was a man with a deep fascination for mysteries beyond the material world, an aspect of Tesla that history hasn't widely explored. Throughout his life, Tesla was obsessed with the idea that there was more to existence than what science could measure. Unlike many of his contemporaries, he didn't view spirituality and science as enemies. Instead, Tesla seemed convinced that the invisible forces shaping the universe, energy, frequency, and vibration, might also connect us to something beyond death. This belief wasn't just idle speculation, it motivated some of his most secretive experiments, the details of which were buried for decades. For years, Tesla kept many of his private notes and research locked away, hidden from the public eye and even from many of his closest associates. After his death in 1943, the U.S. government seized his belongings, fearing some of his inventions might fall into the wrong hands. What wasn't widely known until recently is that among his confiscated papers was a set of documents suggesting Tesla was trying to do something truly extraordinary: to communicate with souls beyond the veil of death. This discovery came to light only in recent decades, as previously classified archives have slowly become accessible. The documents, handwritten, sometimes cryptic, reveal a side of Tesla that clashes with the purely scientific image we have of him. They tell of experiments that blend technology with a search for spiritual connection, as Tesla sought signals not from Earth, but from what he described as other realms. To understand why this is so astonishing, consider the time Tesla lived in. The late 19th and early 20th centuries were a period of rapid scientific advancement, but also a time when spiritualism and occult interests were widespread in certain intellectual circles. Tesla himself attended seances and was intrigued by psychic phenomena, but he approached these ideas with a rigor that set him apart from typical spiritualists. He wanted measurable evidence, something concrete. The newly uncovered document from Tesla's vault shows that he believed he had found a way. Using his knowledge of electromagnetic waves and frequencies, Tesla theorized that the soul, or consciousness after death, might communicate through subtle vibrations. He developed devices designed to detect these faint signals, hoping to prove once and for all that death was not the end, but a transition. This blending of science and spirituality was revolutionary and dangerous. At a time when scientific institutions were pushing for strict materialism and governments were wary of anything that could disrupt the social order, Tesla's secret experiments were considered too radical. The document remained sealed, hidden away as if to protect the world from ideas that could shake its foundations. But Tesla's curiosity and dedication to uncovering truth, no matter how unsettling, shine through the pages. His writings reveal a man not just driven by invention, but by a profound desire to understand the ultimate nature of reality and what lies beyond the physical world. Today, this document challenges the simple narrative of Tesla as just a genius inventor. It suggests he was also a seeker of deeper truths, someone who dared to cross the boundaries between science and spirit. The implications are enormous. If Tesla's experiments did indeed pick up messages from beyond, what does that say about our understanding of life, death, and consciousness? As you listen to this story, imagine what it meant for a man like Tesla, whose inventions changed the modern world, to turn his genius toward unraveling the greatest mystery of all. What happens after we die? And consider what this secret, buried for decades, might mean for us now. Now, let's dive deeper into what Tesla actually heard, and what those mysterious messages might mean for all of us. Nikola Tesla wasn't just an inventor obsessed with machines and currents. He was a man fascinated by the unknown, the invisible forces that might connect our world to something beyond. Among the recently uncovered documents from his vault is a detailed account of one of his most secretive and ambitious projects: building a device designed to communicate with spirits beyond death. Tesla approached this quest not as a mystic, but as a scientist, curious, methodical, and determined to prove the impossible. His experiment was rooted in the fundamental principles he understood best: electromagnetism, frequency, and resonance. Tesla believed that if consciousness or the soul exists beyond the physical body, it must operate at a vibrational level, sending and receiving signals much like radio waves. The challenge, then, was building a machine sensitive enough to catch those signals. The device Tesla worked on was unlike anything seen before. It was essentially an advanced receiver, tuned to frequencies far beyond the range of ordinary radio signals. Using a combination of Tesla coils, capacitors, and carefully calibrated antennas, Tesla aimed to detect patterns that couldn't be explained by natural or man-made sources. His notes describe painstaking adjustments, changing coil lengths, altering voltage levels, and experimenting with pulse timings, in hopes of isolating a signal from the other side. In his journals, Tesla writes with a mix of excitement and caution. He was aware of how controversial this project would seem, and even how it might affect his reputation among the scientific community. But the entries reveal a man who felt he was on the brink of a breakthrough. Early on, he began to notice strange phenomena: static bursts, rhythmic pulses, and faint patterns emerged in the noise, signals that did not match any known earthly source. Tesla's writings from this period convey a growing conviction that these were not random electrical disturbances, but messages. "The signals persist," he wrote. "They come in repeating sequences, almost like a code. I cannot yet decipher their meaning, but I am certain they originate beyond our physical plane." The language Tesla used is careful, not jumping to spiritual conclusions, but the implication is clear. He believed he was receiving communication from beyond death. His scientific mindset shines through in how he documented these experiences. Tesla was meticulous. Every anomaly was logged with timestamps, equipment settings, and environmental conditions. He tested and retested to rule out interference or equipment malfunction. To him, the proof had to be undeniable, repeatable, and measurable. But beneath this rigor was a deep spiritual curiosity, a longing to connect with what he called the infinite intelligence. Tesla's experiment also included attempts to send signals back. He theorized that if the spirit realm operated through vibrations, perhaps a carefully crafted pulse or frequency could act as a beacon or question. Some of his notes hint at this dialogue, describing how he sent patterned bursts and waited for responses. The document doesn't reveal much about the results of these attempts, leaving a tantalizing mystery about whether Tesla felt he ever truly established contact. One of the most remarkable aspects of Tesla's writings is how he blended cutting-edge science with an openness to metaphysical realities. He did not dismiss religious or spiritual experiences, but saw them as potentially grounded in the physics of energy and frequency. What we call the soul may simply be a form of energy, he suggested. And, like all energy, it must follow laws that we can discover and perhaps even communicate with. Tesla's experiment took place during a time when spiritualism and seances were popular in certain social circles, but his approach was different. He didn't rely on mediums or channelers. Instead, he trusted technology to do the work. This set his project apart, but also made it vulnerable to dismissal by those who saw spirituality and science as incompatible. The secrecy surrounding this experiment was intense. Tesla knew the implications were profound and possibly dangerous. If it became widely known that communication with the dead was scientifically possible, it could shake the foundations of religion, philosophy, and even politics. His device was kept hidden, and many of the notes were coded or deliberately vague, possibly to protect the project from prying eyes. In one poignant entry, Tesla reflects on what this communication might mean for humanity. If we can truly reach beyond death, he writes, then life itself takes on a new meaning. Fear of the unknown fades. Judgment, morality, and purpose might be understood not as abstract ideas, but as forces within this great cosmic dialogue. Tesla's experiment, then, was not just about proving the afterlife. It was about bridging two worlds with technology. It was an effort to show that death is not a final silence, but a signal we can learn to hear, a conversation waiting to be joined. As we consider Tesla's secret work today, we are left with more questions than answers. Did his device really pick up voices or consciousness from beyond? Was Tesla on the verge of a discovery that could transform how we think about life and death? Or were these early signals simply natural phenomena misunderstood? What remains undeniable is Tesla's courage to pursue a question that still haunts humanity. Is there a way to communicate beyond the grave? And if so, what might those messages tell us about who we are and what comes next? Let's dive into how these revelations were received and why they were buried in silence for decades. Tesla's recordings of those strange signals reveal something far beyond ordinary science. He didn't just pick up random noise. He believed these were messages sent from beings beyond our earthly realm. According to Tesla's notes, the messages carried profound themes about life after death, warnings about how humanity's relentless push for progress might lead to unforeseen dangers, and glimpses of cosmic truths that challenge our basic understanding of existence. Tesla wrote about encountering signals that seemed to come from intelligent sources, not mere static or interference. He described patterns that resembled language, rhythms that hinted at meaning, and even what he called voices speaking through his machines. Though he never publicly disclosed all the details, private documents suggest he was convinced these were communications from a dimension or plane beyond our own. One theme that appeared repeatedly in Tesla's notes was the idea that consciousness survives physical death. The messages implied that souls or energies continue to exist, and that what we call death is more a transformation or transition rather than an absolute end. This notion challenged the dominant materialist worldview of Tesla's time, and even today, it remains controversial. Yet Tesla approached this not as a mystic, but as a scientist determined to document evidence. The warnings embedded in the communications were equally striking. Tesla cautioned that humanity's rapid technological advances, especially in harnessing energy and manipulating nature, carried risks that went beyond immediate physical harm. He suggested that ignoring the spiritual or cosmic balance could invite consequences, perhaps upsetting forces we do not yet understand. It was as if these messages were urging caution, not to halt progress, but to recognize that science and spirit are intertwined. Tesla meticulously documented his findings in journals and sketches, often mixing technical diagrams with cryptic notes about the other side. Some entries describe attempts to decode the signals using mathematical formulas and linguistic analysis. His scientific curiosity pushed him to test hypotheses, refine equipment, and keep searching for clearer contact. However, these efforts also sparked controversy. Skeptics dismissed Tesla's claims as fanciful or delusional, and some within his own circles urged silence, fearing that publicizing such ideas would damage his reputation or cause panic. This tension between groundbreaking discovery and societal acceptance loomed over Tesla's later years. Interpretations of these messages vary widely. Some see them as proof of life beyond death, others as a metaphor for the subconscious mind or unexplored realms of physics. A few suggest Tesla might have inadvertently intercepted signals from extraterrestrial sources, rather than spirits as we traditionally understand them. Regardless, the mystery remains. Tesla's own writings refuse to be easily categorized, inviting ongoing debate. For you watching this now, Tesla's messages offer a powerful invitation to question what you think you know about life, death, and the unseen forces that might be shaping our reality. Are we truly alone, or part of a larger cosmic conversation? What responsibility do we have as stewards of technology and consciousness? This is the deeper story Tesla uncovered. A story that challenges science, spirituality, and the limits of human understanding. And it's only just beginning to be told. Now that we've peeled back the layers of suppression surrounding Tesla's secret work, it's time to dive deeper into what those hidden messages truly mean, and why they still resonate today. Imagine a vault deep beneath the surface, where whispers of Tesla's secret work lay hidden for decades. Not just because it was strange or misunderstood, but because it threatened the very fabric of what we're told to believe. What if the world wasn't ready for Tesla's discoveries? What if the truth he glimpsed was too powerful, too unsettling? You see, this isn't just another forgotten experiment. It's a fragment of forbidden knowledge, a veil carefully drawn to keep ordinary people from seeing beyond the curtain. What most people don't realize is that the suppression of Tesla's documents wasn't an accident. It was deliberate. Governments, scientific authorities, even powerful institutions feared what this knowledge could unleash. Think about that for a moment. Why would anyone fear the discovery that souls might communicate beyond death? That consciousness could transcend the physical world? To many, these ideas challenge the core of modern science and political control. They threaten to awaken something deeper, something unmanageable. Tesla himself was no stranger to contradiction. A man of wires and equations, he was also haunted by visions, a restless mind that refused to separate science from spirit. His journals reveal his conflicted heart, the excitement of discovery mixed with a growing fear of exposure. Could he have imagined the cost of sharing this knowledge? His writings speak in coded phrases, veiled allusions, as if he knew eyes were watching. Some passages were scratched out, some entire pages torn away. What secrets did they try to erase? What was hidden behind those erased words? The mystery lingers like a shadow just out of reach. And here's the kicker. This document wasn't just misplaced. It was locked down, classified, then quietly removed from public discourse. Imagine how many truths have been lost in the dust of censorship. What if the most profound revelations are the ones the world refuses to hear? You might wonder, what does this mean for you? If these suppressed messages are real, if Tesla truly did reach beyond the veil, then you're standing at a crossroads. Will you remain in the comfort of the known? Or will you dare to peer behind the veil where light and shadow mingle? Tesla's story is a warning and an invitation. It's a spark waiting to ignite your own awakening. But beware, this path isn't for the faint-hearted. The knowledge he chased shakes the foundations of identity, existence, and even mortality itself. Imagine tuning into a frequency where time loses meaning, where voices from beyond brush against your own. Tesla described sensations like whispers carried on invisible waves, a haunting chorus from realms unseen. He called it contact, but the true nature of what he found remains obscured, just beyond our grasp. What if the silence enforced around this discovery was meant to keep you asleep? What if, beneath layers of denial and dismissal, there's a light waiting to pierce through? There are still fragments of Tesla's experiments to be uncovered, hints dropped in obscure footnotes and private letters. Some researchers risked their reputations chasing these trails, but mainstream platforms banned discussions about these ideas. They labeled them pseudoscience, delusion, or worse, a threat to public order. Yet the truth has a way of bubbling to the surface, especially for those who see beyond surface appearances. Ordinary people remain caught in the web of accepted facts, but those who dare to look deeper find doors ajar to unimaginable realities. Here's a question for you. What if the technology Tesla built didn't just connect circuits, but connected souls? What if his signals weren't random noise, but intentional messages from beyond? And then there's the cosmic judgment Tesla hinted at in his notes. A tribunal of sorts, not of human making, that observes our actions on a grander scale. What if your life isn't just a fleeting spark, but part of a larger cosmic drama? Does that change how you live? How do you choose? Tesla's conflicted silence at the end of his life adds another layer of mystery. Some say he regretted ever speaking about these experiments openly. Others whisper that he feared the consequences of unleashing truths that humanity wasn't prepared for. You might feel a chill imagining what those consequences could be. If the veil lifts, what will you see? Will your worldview crumble or expand? Will you feel lost or awakened? This secret document from Tesla's vault is a key, but only for those willing to turn it. Not everything is revealed here, not yet. Some parts remain locked away, their contents removed or erased, like shadows fading before dawn. What if this is just the beginning? What if the suppressed knowledge Tesla uncovered is part of a much larger puzzle, one that connects science, spirit, and the very meaning of existence? You're invited now to question, to wonder, to awaken, because once the veil starts to lift, there's no going back. Now that we've glimpsed Tesla's daring attempt to reach beyond the veil, it's time to ask the deeper questions that shake the foundations of what we think we know about life, death, and existence itself. Imagine for a moment what it would mean if Tesla's attempts were more than just the musings of a brilliant inventor chasing impossible dreams. What if his experiments really did open a small window into something vast and unseen? A reality where life and death aren't absolute endings, but part of a continuous flow. This isn't just a question about technology or science, it's a question about what it means to be human. Tesla was a man of science, yet he stepped boldly into a realm many scientists avoid, the spiritual unknown. His quest to reach souls beyond death challenges the rigid boundary we often place between the material world and whatever lies beyond it. What most people don't realize is how fragile that boundary might be. If consciousness or the soul can interact with machines, if it can send signals beyond the grave, then our understanding of life becomes more complex and far more mysterious. For centuries, science and spirituality have seemed like opposing forces. Science demands proof, measurable evidence. Spirituality asks us to trust in what we cannot always see or quantify. Tesla's story forces us to reconsider this division. What if they're not enemies, but parts of a larger truth we've only begun to glimpse? Tesla's experiment suggests that maybe the veil between these worlds is thinner than we think, sometimes flickering, sometimes tearing, revealing flashes of what's on the other side. This blurring of lines is unsettling for many. It forces us to question deeply held beliefs about mortality, existence, and the nature of consciousness. If our minds or souls can transcend the body, then death might not be an end but a transformation, an evolution into a different state of being. This changes everything. It means the fears, the regrets, the unfinished stories we carry might ripple beyond this life, shaping something greater than ourselves. At the heart of this is humanity's eternal search for connection. Throughout history, cultures across the world have tried to reach beyond death, to find messages from ancestors, spirits, or some divine source. Tesla's experiment taps into this ancient yearning but through the lens of modern science and technology. It's as if he tried to build a bridge between the age-old mysteries of the soul and the cutting-edge tools of the 20th century. But what if we've been ignoring these possibilities? What if the dismissal of Tesla's work is part of a larger pattern, where powerful systems silence knowledge that could disrupt established orders? What if the true danger isn't just the technology itself, but the awakening it could trigger? An awakening to realities that challenge the very foundations of how society operates. Now, look inward. What does this mean for you? How do you define yourself? Are you just the body you see in the mirror, the sum of your memories and experiences? Or is there something more, an eternal essence that connects you to something beyond the physical? What if your choices, your actions, echo far beyond the moment, influencing realms you cannot yet perceive? These questions aren't easy. They pull at the fabric of your understanding, asking you to reconsider everything you thought was certain. But this is where true awakening begins. It's the lifting of veils, peeling back layers of ignorance and fear to see a broader horizon. It's like stepping out of a dark cave into the light, realizing the shadows you feared were just distortions, not the full picture. Tesla's story invites you to walk that path, to be curious, to question, and to explore beyond what's comfortable. What if science, technology, and spirituality aren't separate roads but one winding path toward understanding the deepest truths of existence? What if you hold the key to unlocking that mystery, not just as a passive observer, but as an active participant? In the end, the true revelation isn't just what Tesla found in his lab. It's what you discover in yourself. The possibility that life is far more than what meets the eye. That death might be a doorway, not a wall. That you are part of a vast, interconnected web of existence stretching beyond time and space. Are you ready to question what you've always believed? To challenge the limits of your perception? To embrace a reality where science and spirit dance together, where hidden knowledge awaits those willing to seek it? Because once that veil lifts, you may never see the world the same way again. What if what we've uncovered so far is only the surface? Tesla's vault, shrouded in mystery and secrecy, might still hold even deeper secrets, documents or inventions that could completely upend everything we believe about consciousness, life, and what lies beyond death. Imagine a knowledge so profound it could rewrite the rules of science and spirituality forever. These hidden truths aren't just relics of the past. They could hold answers to questions humanity has wrestled with for millennia. Could Tesla have glimpsed a reality where mind and matter merge? Where do the boundaries between the living and the dead dissolve? What if he found a way to map the unseen realms that connect all of us? This isn't just about old science or forgotten experiments. It's about awakening to a new understanding of who we are, more than flesh and bone, more than atoms and energy. It's a call to open your mind to possibilities that challenge the very core of your existence. And yet, much of this remains hidden, locked away by forces that fear the upheaval such knowledge could bring. The full extent of Tesla's discoveries might still be banned or erased from public view. What else have we been kept from seeing? What truths lie buried in the shadows, waiting for the right moment and the right people to bring them into the light? You stand now at the edge of revelation. What you choose to do with this glimpse into the unknown could change everything. Your beliefs, your fears, even your destiny. Will you turn away, or will you dive deeper, ready to uncover what lies beyond the veil? The story isn't over. In fact, it's only just beginning. And when the next piece of Tesla's puzzle finally comes to light, nothing will ever be the same again.